Hi, I'm Dr. Bertice Berry, and I want to tell you a story. I studied stratification, the unequal distribution of wealth, power, and prestige in a society. When I was in graduate school, I not only looked at this umbrella of stratification, but I looked at race and gender and aging. I studied statistical analysis and research, and I also studied theory construction. It was important that I study the theory because if you don't have a good theory, then all of your research and all of your data is as bad as that theory because it just comes from that. Let me say it this way. Your worldview dictates the data you gather. What you go around seeing or not seeing or believing or not believing depends on the theory that you live under. If your theory says that the world is perfect, but those people just don't work hard enough, you will look for evidence to support your theory. Your theory becomes your worldview, and it's as if you're squinting for the data that you're looking for, and you can only see through that. And because I was studying so intently this unequal distribution of wealth, power, and prestige in a society, I saw everything through that lens. I lived my life through that lens. I shopped through that lens. Who I spoke to, who I didn't, who I danced with, who I wouldn't, was through that lens of the stratification of wealth, power, and prestige in a society. One day a friend said, "I think you are a little bit too close to your work. I'm going to take you to a gallery." He took me to an art gallery, and he stood in front of the label of a painting, and he said to me, "What do you see?" And I looked at this painting, and it was earth tones and big round cylindrical kinds of images, and the depth of those images pulled me in, and there's some in front of the others. And I looked and I said, "This reminds me of the masses struggling, yearning to get somewhere, and the society holding them down." And he stepped to the side and he said, "This painting is called Donuts." There's an African proverb that says if you look at anything too closely, it will break your heart. I think some of us need to step back. We need to see a bigger view. We need to reconstruct our theory because our theory is incorrect. And if your theory leaves out justice and peace and harmony and joy, it's really not a good theory. If your theory doesn't allow for all voices to be heard, it's not a good theory. If your theory only looks for sorrow and sadness and evidence of all that is wrong with the world, it's not a good theory. But if your theory only looks for bubblegum and light and the world in the 50s from television, it's not a good theory. I try to see the world with not only what truly is, but also with all of the possibilities. Back then, when I was only seeing it through the ills of society, I could barely shop in a grocery store. Everything reminded me of the struggle of life. And I couldn't eat a grape without seeing the mistreatment of those who've harvested those grapes. It's important for me to see that, but important enough for me to see it and say, where's the local co-op? Let me support some folks over here. Let me eat things that are seasonal. Let me share in the joy of life and stand up for those who are being oppressed. Seeing alone and screaming from the rooftop doesn't move this needle. But dancing with those who see with you and singing songs of possibility and helping others to see. That's a theory. If your theory is only about the past, move your needle forward. I love you.